Hi, FlossTube Stitchers. Remember when I was so excited to bring back these little 2x2 tuckable pillows from Nashville this year? Well, while I was in the old Colonial design suite, I happened to overhear, which one does in a small space, another shop owner talking to Kelly about doing it again, or were there more pillows available, or it went well for her. And it occurred to me that they were talking about a consignment trunk show where the shop gets product that they can sell for a certain period of time and then send back what they didn't want to keep and pay for what they sold or wanted to keep for future sales. And I thought, oh, yay, this is my time, because I had been very interested in knowing whether there were more pillows like this available. I had my arms full of bags of these, but there were only 2 prints. So I didn't know if that was the end of something, if there was more available. I knew they weren't really making more because they haven't been on their website for a while, and I hadn't seen any designers using them. So when it was my turn to check out, I said I was very interested in that. I had carried them back in the day and finished many of them myself, and I thought it would be really good for my shop to have, because we don't have a soft finisher right now. We only have a framer. Well, I had no clue that she would do it so soon after market. I assumed that she would be busy and that this would be something that would come along later if she could find anything to send me. So I got a shipping notice, which I thought was for my back ordered kits. And when the box came, I thought, these were like little kits. What possibly could be in this box? I thought maybe I had gotten somebody else's order by mistake. And when I opened it up and saw what was in it, I was just flabbergasted, because usually designers and product makers and fabric dyers are so busy right after market still, replenishing their stock and filling back orders and, making new things. So I was very surprised. This probably will be a little bit hard to film, so I think I'm going to do it section by section and just stop the recording and start again. So I hope it's not too choppy, but it would be too hard for me to do all this and have everything in front of me, because I have an 8-foot table full of product. But I couldn't wait and do this any other time, because I already mentioned to multiple people that I was going to show these on my video tonight. You may have seen the pictures on Facebook and Instagram yesterday, and I have already gotten a lot of comments and a lot of emails. So I knew I couldn't procrastinate and try to do it, a drawn out version on another day. I just had to get to it tonight. So I'm going to start with, I did a stack of things. And I'll end with the pillow. So I have like the flat things first. But like I said, I might have to stop, and I hope it's not awkward or too choppy. So this is the first item I'm going to show. It's called a basket wrap. This is only half of it. Of course, I can't show you the whole thing because it's very long. I was really only concentrating on how big the stitching area would be. But I did want to show you that they're sewn really well. There's ribbons on the end, so this is what you would tie around the back of the basket. And this is the only one we have like this. Really sweet little Easter design. And it's not a flat cotton. It actually has a little bit of a ridge to it where you see the white line. So it's a nicer fabric than just a cheap cotton. I see something like the Lizzie Kate strings or the Bent Creek rose, some kind of, long design, or you could do multiple small motifs in a row, or you could spell out a word or a phrase, because it's quite long. The area that you have for stitching, this one happens to be 1.5 by 17.5, but the rest of them are more like 2 by 18. So this is also the skinniest. So I don't know if that was on purpose, or whether it's just when seamstresses are making quite a few things, maybe, the seams got a little bigger and the area got smaller. I don't know. I have no history behind this. I don't know if it was actually designed for something in particular, or whether she just did a variety of things for sale. So Pam Reed of Old Colonial is the one who started this company, and Kelly is her daughter. And Pam still runs the Celebration of Needlework festivals that are for consumers. It's not a wholesale show. So who knows? She could have just done tons of these and sold them and not worried about what the stitcher was going to do in them. It's not like she did them for a class or for a certain designer's chart. So I think that it's going to be easier for somebody to just buy something because they really like it and worry later about what they're going to fit into it, rather than trying to find the perfect thing for their design. Because what you might have to do is change the fabric count in order to get it to fit in something. Okay, so these are, let's see, the basket wraps are 9. Okay, so I had one of those. Then I have 2 of these, and like I said, this is the one that's a little bit bigger, 2 by 18. And I don't know, if you're interested, I'll measure the length. Maybe it's a yard, but it certainly would go around a nice big basket so that you could see, you know, a longer design. So these, of course, are flags and stars. And then I have 3 of, let's see, get it going the right way. I have 3 of these gardening print designs. And this is, I think, more like 2 by 18, but it's width-wise, it's kind of in the middle of the other 2 designs. So, you know, they're not all perfectly the same. So there were only 6 basket wraps. Then the rest are pillow wraps. So these are wider and not quite as long, but they would go around, you know, I didn't measure this, like a 12-inch pillow. So this wrap is, the design area is 3.5 by 9.5. So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe more like a 12-inch pillow it would go around. And again, with the ties on the end. They're made really well. And that green could be used for so many different things. I have 2 of the green. I have 1 of this lavender floral. I have 1 of the red, I guess it's a plaid, but it's just red and white. Then I have 3 of these. So it kind of looks patriotic, but it maybe doesn't have to be. And I have 3 of these, the same print as the basket wrap. And then I have 4 of this print. Okay, and the pillow wraps are 10. Okay. Okay, then there are banners of a couple different sizes and shapes. I'll start with the smaller ones. These are 4 by 4s, 4 by 4 opening, and I have 3 of this little sweet floral design. Do you know how to use these? So they all have like the tuck. And so you just put your design right in there. Now this is meant to be flat, but if you want it to fill it up more, you could put a dense quilt batting or Thermolam, Warm and Natural. I don't know what the brand names are now. And if you're worried about gravity, you know, pulling a piece down, you know, some people will go ahead and put buttons in the corner if they want it to be permanent, but they really advertise these as being tucked so that when you get bored with your design, you could put a new design in, or if you had a print that could, a color or print that could be used for different seasons or holidays, that you could switch it out easier. So then I have 3 of these, and it's not specifically patriotic, but certainly with the red, white, and blue, it looks like it. So those are the 4 by 4s. Then I have 1 oh, I'm sorry, those banners were 6. The 4x8 is 10, and this would go on a okay, then I have one 4x8, and while the other ones could hang on a hook or a peg, these would require a dowel or something to hang on the wall. And I just had one of those in that size. Then I have 2 5x11. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, the price sheet is not really in any kind of order, and neither is my stack. Okay, so these are the 5x11, and these run 17, and I only have 2. This is kind of a cranberry check. And this is a kind of like a prim plummy color with a beige. I'll give you some kind of an idea. I see some of the older homespun elegance long designs going in those, if you remember what I'm talking about. Then these banners are 8.5, and I have 1 beige and 1 of the green plaid, 1 of this navy and beige, and 1 of this kind of cranberry-ish and white. And did I say those were 14? Okay, so those are all the flat things. Then we have, I'll go back to those little tucks. So I do have more of these. I only had 1 of the little cranberry one. The only other diamond shape I have is this little black floral design, and I have 2 of those. And these are all 5. Then I have 2 of this sweet little, it's kind of like it's like a polka dot, I guess. Not a true polka dot, but, and then 1 of these, and 1 of the green, okay? And then I think even though this is a bigger pillow, it kind of still only has a 3-inch opening. So this is the same thing, $5. And this is an alphabet print. And then I had 2 of these blue and pink prints. Okay, so those are the $5 ones. Okay, then we have 2x3s, and they have little hangers on them. I actually have 6 of this design. This is the same as that first basket wrap I showed you. And then I have 6 of this sweet little basket pattern, and those are 5 also. And then the 3x3, oh, and I have 1 of this print. Okay, then these are the 3-inch pillows, and I have 2 of each of these designs. This is kind of like a medium denim color, and this looks like black on camera, but it's navy. I put it next to navy and black fabric and floss, and it's definitely a really, really dark navy and beige. So I have 2 each of those. And then I just have 1 of this print. It's the same size opening, but maybe there's more fabric around it. So that I've been a little confused with the sizes. There's no 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, but sometimes the opening is slightly bigger, and sometimes just the actual pillow has more of a border around it than others. Okay. Sorry, I had 2 of those. It was in the wrong basket. All right, then These are 3x5s and they are $9. And I just have 2 blue and 1 pink, and 1 of the gardening design. All right, then we have some hangable pillows, not to be confused with the hangable banners like I was. I have 1 pink and 2 of that same red. I was confusing myself because the other ones are flat and these are pillows. Had to do a quick measurement there. I only had 1 of them. It should have been easy to find on the sheet, but this is a flanged pillow with a 3x4 opening, and I just love this fabric. I would love to see if they had any more of these in anything, because that would go so nicely in my house. Okay, then we also only had 1 of these. This is a 4.5x11 in that same really dark navy. All right, the 3x4 flanged tuckaway is 8, and the 4.5x11 tuckaway is 16. Okay. Then we have 4x4 flanged. And some of these may already be spoken for, so I'm going to apologize now if you ask for it in the next 24 hours and I tell you it's already sold. Because what I did for people that ask questions is I answered all of their questions, including the size of the opening. And if the pillow is not going to work for them, then it's available for sale. If they say it will work, or they'll make it work, or find something to stitch in it, then I have to give it to the first person who requested this particular print. So this is a cute little, I'll just show, you know, this is the front. I'll just show you the back for the rest of them. Really cute cat design. And this is a pretty pink. I have 2 of these, kind of a prim red and blue. And this is that dark, dark navy again. And then I have this meow design. All right, and the 4x4 flanges are 10. People, this is a really good deal. It's going to cost more for the shipping than it is for the product. But the prices are reduced because they consider these discontinued items. So I thought that was really fair. They didn't have to do that, but I guess it's money coming in for products that haven't been advertised recently, so it's all good for them. All right, then I have just some bigger pillows. All right, then this next set are 6x6 flanged pillows, and this is the only one that has a binding around the edge. The rest of them are just the regular seam. So this is a really nice neutral. Looks very sophisticated. And the 6x6s are, I already looked it up and forgot, 14. Okay, so I have that one. I have one of the green again. That was a popular print. It's also good for this season. So like I said, she might have sent more of things that she thought would sell now. And this is a bigger pillow with the pink and blue. This is a nice, like, kind of prim colors in a floral. This reminds me of toile, or is it toile? Can toile be multiple colors? I can't remember. All right, and then this cute little doggy design. All right, so that does it. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes. I ran into some issues where I was trying to match up product to the sheet and I couldn't find it, and then I realized it said they sent me 0 of those. So this must be a master sheet, and I didn't get all of the sizes that are available. Okay, now I need to see how long that video was so I know how much else I can talk about tonight. Okay, we'll see you soon. As I thought would happen, I had to edit that first section a lot, and in case I confused you on the sizes of the items or the outtakes had some of the prices in them and I didn't realize that I hadn't repeated the price, I will put a description and price list in the show notes for tonight's video. I also wanted to reiterate that I am not the seamstress. These are not my products, and you cannot special order anything. I'm getting a lot of confusing messages, and I apologize if you're a first-time viewer or if you just found me on social media and didn't understand what kind of business I am. So this is a consignment trunk show, and these products may or may not be available in other quantities. She sent me a variety. It doesn't mean she doesn't have 12 more of the green pillows. I just don't know that right now. So also you can't order sizes that weren't mentioned because they kind of did standard sizes. So this is not a custom sew to order type situation. And I just felt like I had to be real clear about that. Okay, so what did I bring you for vintage stitching tonight? You got it. Tucks, more tucks. So I found this to be interesting, and I really didn't think about it until I was planning tonight's video. But Pam has on her little tags on the pillows, manufactured in the USA by Old Colonial Designs, and then she has like a little trademark design technique. So I thought that she had a copyright on the name Tuckables, so that people couldn't use that terminology, but it actually says design technique. So I'm confused as to why there are other companies doing this type of pillow if the design technique was copyrighted or trademarked. But certainly Pine Mountain has been around for a really long time. They still do these tuck pillows, not this particular kit, but they do still have a lot on their website. And I sincerely doubt that Old Colonial is making these pillows for them because this company is a quilting company first and foremost. And so they are certainly accomplished seamstresses. I don't know the history behind this. I don't know if there was any kind of deal. I've never heard of any situation between the two companies. I just found it interesting today to note that there was a design technique issue, but yet these are the same type of pillows. So maybe I'll be bold enough to ask in the future so that I can be better versed on what to tell my customers. I don't want to be saying the wrong thing. But anyway, this I think was called Be Humble, Be Ye Humble. I said that too fast. And I did check the website today. It's no longer available. I found it recently not with my bee decor. So it actually has not been out for quite a while. And so it made for a good vintage stitch for tonight and good for the upcoming season for me to put out on display at my house. So there are two specific things I wanted to point out to you about this. One is the satin stitch in the bee skep, and it kind of makes it look more natural, like a wicker bee skep would be. And then this is a tip for how to use snaps instead of buttons. So what we did for this kit is to stitch the yellow and black bee body and then place the snap right through the fabric on top of the stitching, and it created this darling little perfectly round bee shape. I wanted to point that out because it's not something I had seen before. So that's my Be Ye Humble, I think was the name of the kit. All right, and then this is Heart and Hand Needle Art We Welcome from 100 years ago. No, not really. Cecilia's not that old, and neither am I, but it is quite old. It's one of her first wee ones, which was around the time, it was like within the first 5 or 7 years of my business, I think. So it was quite a while ago. And I just noticed today that there's probably something missing down there. I'm sure that if I was supposed to space my name, I would have done it across the whole bottom. So I'm thinking there's supposed to be maybe a button, or maybe I don't know, established in the year or something. But I thought, well, I really can't finish it until I find my chart at home. But the reason it's been in my stitching cabinet for so long is because I had this old Colonial pillow, and I thought, oh, it's the perfect size for this. Well, it's almost too perfect. And you're not going to be able to tell, I guess, but the edge of the pillow is like, I don't know, 2 or 3 threads away from that border. And I'm just too scared to cut it. I'm too scared to trim it and put it in there. And I thought, well, what I really should do is just frame it and find something else that's smaller to put in the pillow. Isn't that silly? So it's been in this pie safe for like 20 some years since we've been in this house, and it should have been on display. So that's, you know, that's usual Shelly behavior. All right, then my framer was here shortly after I had opened the consignment box, and I said, oh, Bonnie, I'm so excited to go home and look at all of my tiny finishes that I've never fully finished, to see if there's something that will, you know, work in these pillows. I hadn't even gone through the box yet. And she said, well, you better not show it to anybody, because you're probably going to take the whole thing home for yourself, you know. And I said, rude. Anyway, I did come up with something else. This is also a heart and hand from my freebie February, and I thought that it would look good in either of these 2 pillows. But I'm not going to do that right now, because I need to see if some of these things can be sold to customers. I was thinking, you know, if they had sent like 12 of the same thing, then I could use one as a model, but I probably won't do it right away because of that. But anyway, all right, that's my vintage stitching for this week. And then I wanted to end with the winners of the thread from last week's video, and the new colors of Classic Colorworks are going to go to Michelle 19470. And I may know Michelle and just not recognize the YouTube handle, or she might be new. So I reached out to her and told her I needed her to confirm her identity and give me her address. And then the General Art Sampler threads are going out to Kathleen Ross, and I already have her info. So, alrighty, thank you for watching. I hope you weren't too confused by this video. Reach out if you're interested in something, and I will do my best to make sure that things go to the people who asked for them first, or whatever, or reach out to Kelly to find out if something else is available in a larger quantity, etc., etc. Okay, we will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.